Hello, my friends. Hello, Guillaume. Carrie will not be here today because she's feeling under the weather. She's sad to miss you all. But I will be here. We will be talking about sales. And I like to call it, I'm sure other people call it this too, vibrational sales. Because we, as heart centered service providers, entrepreneurs, product makers, we want sales to feel good and empowering and like a co-creation between two people. We don't want it to feel like we're like there's ickiness in any way, right? I have been teaching people how to have an online business for over a decade now, which is kind of fun. And sales is often the thing that people are afraid of most. And so that's why today we're going to demystify it. We're going to let our vibration do the work, and they're going to make it easy and fun. And I have my intuitive art cards here so that if you have a question about sales, how can you specifically get over one fear or get yourself in the mindset to go forward, ask me your question and I will do a reading for you. So let's get started. Hello, Corinne, and hi, everybody else, too, live and watching the replay. All right. First of all, I just want you to know that the process of receiving income, money, for your services or products, I know can be challenging. I am in the same boat. I definitely was very uncomfortable in the beginning of my career taking money for what I did. I started as a psychic in the world. I mean, I had other jobs, but like my own employment, I started as a psychic, and it was just very unnatural for me. It was very uncomfortable. I felt like people were overpaying. I wasn't the one setting the price. If I set my price in the beginning, it would be like $20, right? That's what I see a lot of my students do. Let me make it as cheap as possible. And that way people will come. We'll get that myth out of the way right now. Your price is not what determines if someone buys from you. It might determine if they're able to buy from you, but just having the lowest price does not ensure sales. So we'll get that out of the way. But anyway, so I was working at this center and they were creating the price for my service. And I was just like so outraged almost by it. It was like $125 to have a session with me. Who was I, this, young 20 something? And it was too much. It was too much for me. So what did I do? When I went off on my own, I started much, much lower than that. And it just takes time to gain your confidence and to align with the fact that you need to eat too. You need to be able to support yourself. So there is no right or wrong amount of money that you can charge, right? Anything that you think about that is just a story in your head. $125 wasn't too much. I'm a very talented psychic, and I was even then. And it was a fine exchange. I just wasn't up to speed with it. That was my own work to do. That's why in today's email, I said that sales is really an inside job. If you are aligned with your value, then you won't have a problem attracting people to pay for your value. So we'll get into all of that. But first, I just want to say, if you are undercharging right now, if you don't have your services or products listed on your website, if no one knows what you do or how they could pay you, right? If there's, maybe you have your services or products on your website, but there's no checkout button, right? Then you need to raise your hand right now and be like, okay, I am going to do this. I'm going to allow myself to line up with the fact that I have some value to give the world, and I'm going to let people choose to engage with me, right? That's all you're letting people do. You aren't forcing anyone to buy from you. You aren't manipulating anyone to buy from you. You can be solid in your value and allow people who want to have what you have to offer engage with you. That's all it is. Sales is just giving people the opportunity to have what you have to offer, right? Sounds pretty simple. It's very simple. And the easier you can make it for people to purchase what you have, the better. So I was one of those people who had a website for years, and I had a services page, but first there was nothing on it. And then there was stuff on it, and there was no way for people to buy. I've been there. I know it's terrifying at first, but once you start doing it, you will be able to get more clarity on what you want to charge and how simple it really is. So clarity creates, yeah, I was going to say clarity creates action. True, but also action creates clarity. So if you're in that spot right now where things are a little bit messy on your website, or you don't have a way for people to buy, or if you don't have a website, right? How are people going to find you and pay you for your services or your products if you don't have a website? Well, you can get a newsletter going so that you can email people and put some PayPal links in there, right? Sendfox.com is free. They have a free plan. And you can also set up a page that collects emails, right? And then people collect an email. You can email them with whatever you have to offer. So there's lots of ways to do this. Another good way for service providers and product providers is Square. Square will give you a free website to use to book a service or to sell a product, and they will process payment for you. So Square is a great way to get set up with that. They will even give you hardware so that you can charge people like at a fair or whatever you want. If you're selling things at a fair, they'll give you stuff to process credit cards while you're there. So Square is a great resource for sales. I use Simplero for my online sales purposes and course hosting and emails and stuff. And I've been really happy with them for many, many years now. So another really good resource. Simplero is more expensive. It just does more. So you got to kind of weigh, where am I in business? Am I at a place where I'm willing to invest, $100, $200 a month to house everything and keep all my emails and keep all my, my products and all that stuff? Am I wanting to do that now? Is it going to make my life easier? Is it going to make it easier for me to just relax and communicate about what I do? See last week's marketing for how to do that. Or am I just getting my feet wet, right? Do I just need the bare bones to test out what I want to do? And maybe I don't want to spend any money. So I'll go with SendFox and Square, right? You get to decide where you are in that. And so there's really no excuse as to not having some kind of ease for your clients, because it doesn't have to cost anything. You can get free websites too. I know Wix used to have a free version. I don't know if they still do. But whatever it is that you think would make your life easier and your potential client or customer's life easier, I would give it a few hours, set aside some time and invest in that, because it's going to help you. If you have a structure, it won't be such a panic every time somebody might want something from you, or if you want to sell something, right? Structure is really big in terms of being able to just let your energy flow. I love having my structures because then I can create my marketing with ease and share and let people come in. There's somewhere for people to go, right? There's buttons for them to press to pay stuff. There's a payment processor already connected to that. I don't have to take their card every time somebody wants to buy from me. So it really just makes your life easier, and it's done once you set it up, right? For the most part. So that's a really good way to think about it. So vibrational sales, how do you make it easy, right? How do you set stuff up so that you can just then go about your day and create what you're inspired to create? Cool. All right. Now, Guillaume has a great point here. For Wix, you have to pay for it, but I've heard it is not that good as there is no flexibility in controlling your website. So I come from the era of everyone needs to have WordPress because you own it, right? You host it yourself, you create it. There's millions of plugins for it that allow you to customize it and change it and everything. So I come from that world, and let me tell you, it's a pain in the butt. It's a pain. You have to update it. It breaks all the time. It's insecure. I had one of my sites hacked and taken over by Japanese gambling company. Like, it's just not, it's not for me. It's not easy. I want easy. And so I haven't actually worked with Wix. I use Squarespace now, and I think their lowest plan is like $16.99 a month. But they have sales all the time. If you go to their website, at the top of it, I think right now they're doing a 20% off. And if you listen to any podcasts, there's always a Squarespace ad where they can give you a coupon code. You can probably even just search coupon code Squarespace and find one. And the reason I like Squarespace is, yes, it's more limited. Yes, there are not as many themes. There's not as many extensions or plugins, but I don't have to worry about any of it. All I need to be able to do to have a business is to be able to say what I do, maybe have some additional content like a blog. I like having that, but it's unnecessary. And then have links for people to be able to buy stuff. That's it. That's all I need. And Squarespace and all of these other, kind of templated run for you websites have that. Now, I understand that you don't technically own the software that makes it, right? But you can export it anytime you want, and they're, big publicly traded companies. They're not just going to disappear overnight. But if you want, you can save a backup of your website once a month, and like I said, with my WordPress website, it disappeared without my consent anyway. It doesn't really make a difference anymore. If anything, I think WordPress is less reliable just because it's so unstable and gets hacked all the time. So that's just my 2 cents about that. Like, let's talk. All right, let's switch gears, because why is that even a concern? Why is where to have your website such a big concern when really what we're wanting to do is sell things, right? You're wanting to make a living doing what you love. Well, that's where we need to start, right? We need to start with, what do you love? What do you love, right? It's so much easier to talk about what you do, to have an offer for what you do, if you enjoy what you do, right? Like, I naturally want to talk about what I do because it's so fun for me. It's so fun for me to coach people because everyone brings such a unique life right in front of me that I get to interact with. The other day, I helped someone reframe her why into a television show. It was the coolest thing ever. It was so much fun. I have other clients who are other kinds of artists and coaches and creatives, and it is so fun to help them see themselves more clearly, to help them see past their own limiting beliefs and excuses so that they can have what they want. So why wouldn't I want to talk about that and offer that and stand behind that, right? And it took me lining up with that in order for it to become so second nature. So a lot of people, I think, struggle with owning their own value. And so if that's you, if you have a hard time getting behind your services or you don't know what your benefits are, a lot of people, I think, they have a disconnect between what they feel they're good at, what they want to do, and why anyone would engage with them, right? Why would someone pay me for this? It's so easy for me. Like they think everyone can do what they do. So in that case, having some practice clients is a good idea. Not too many, maybe like up to 3. And just get some feedback. Do your thing, right? Do exactly what you want to do with paid clients, and then ask your practice client at the end, and maybe also give them a few days and ask them again in a few days, like, how was that for you? What did you experience from that? Did you get any clarity from that? What were the benefits that you received? Or did I help you think about something in a different way? Did I unlock something for you? Did I help you make a decision? Is this decision going to lead to you having a happier life or making more money or feeling more in love, right? Like, probe into your clients and ask them, what are they getting out of their time with you? And if you have a product, you can ask similar questions, but obviously more specific to them interacting with your product. And, just because I'm a coach and I help people in their whole lives, it doesn't mean that if you sell a candle, it's not as amazing and life-changing, right? And at the same rate, even if it's not life-changing, it's still okay if your people are enjoying it, right? Like, you can sell anything. You can sell whatever you want. You don't even have to be selling to a person. You can be selling to a company. You can be a YouTuber who is making content, but the ads are what's paying you. And so you're not really selling anything except your excitement for whatever it is you're doing in your YouTube videos or in your educational content or whatever. But even if you're a YouTuber and you're not actually selling something, you still need to know your value, or you will sabotage, for lack of a better word, the money that comes in, right? So if you're a person who finds it difficult to receive in general, it doesn't matter if you're actively selling or not, you will have a hard time receiving from that. So finding a resonance with your own value is really important and will help you in every area of your life to receive. So if somebody gives you a compliment, how do you take it? Right? Do you let it in? Are you like, oh, wow, that feels so good. Thank you. Or are you like, oh, sorry, I bought it on sale, or I didn't really do anything, or right? So that's a really good indicator of how well you're able to receive. If you get a massage, are you able to relax, or are you just in your head the whole time? Right? If you are, I don't know, ask yourself, how good am I at receiving? And that is a place definitely to improve if you want sales to be easy and fun and natural, because you need to let someone give you something in order to make a sale, right? Yeah. Okay. I've been just talking, and it's so funny to not have Carrie here. So let's do a little reading. Let's see. What is the easiest way to align with your value? The easiest way to align with your value. I'm going to cut this deck and then pull out a card. Ooh, okay. This is my, it's like the saw texture. It's like a light mint green. That's my wealth and ease color, by the way. new texture. This is like the all over the place, right? Like almost making making a mess, almost like free flowing. So here's what we've got. Easiest way to align with your value. And these are two textures, and then my color is wealth and ease. So I feel like this is saying it doesn't have to be you meditating for 2 hours a day and like journaling and getting in touch with yourself. These textures are saying, like, see in your daily life, what are you creating? What are you focusing on? What are you doing? That's you. Like, your value is existing regardless of what it is you're actually like outputting, or how like spiritual you're being, or you know what I mean? It's kind of like worthiness. I think this is saying like your value is inherent. And yeah, you can hone it by practicing. You will get better as a product maker and as a service provider the more you intentionally practice and improve your skills. But this is saying to align with your value, see it in the world. Where is it showing up? Who is better after they're done talking with you, or whose life is improved by smelling your candle in their room, or they're wearing your piece of jewelry? So in terms of owning your value, what is the easiest way to do it is just to see it, see the effect that you have on the world. If you can see that you have a positive effect on the world, that's a major win for you in terms of your vibration. The world is a better place because I'm in it. Do you believe that? My cat is currently doing her cry of bringing me an empanada. She has these little stuffed empanadas that she brings me when she's hungry. So that's really cute. So yeah, do you believe the world is a better place because I'm in it? That's a good one. Okay. So do you have any questions? Is there anything you want to know about sales? I know in the email I told you that I would give you a little ritual, how to make sales easier. So this is what I do. There are times when I'm feeling a little out of whack, right? When I'm feeling like, oh, like what, when I get away from my value, right? Because I really rely on my coaching sales page to provide the value. And I made that a long time ago. And I rely on my certification info page to show my value, right, of the course. But I don't read that every day. I'm not reminding myself of what I do for people every day. So sometimes it can feel far away. And so when I'm going into selling something or making a new offer, or, you know, whatever it happens to be, making a sales call or having an enrollment conversation, I just sit there for a moment and get centered, right? I meditate for a minute or two. Hopefully, I've already meditated for a bit longer earlier in the day. And I just remind myself that everything is a co-creation. So I get clear and centered. I remind myself that everything is a co-creation and that I don't have to sell anything. Sales is just the word we're using for an exchange, but it's not my job in that moment to convince, right? Sales isn't convincing. It's not that active, right? This is where the vibrational part really helps me. If I'm on a sales call, someone's deciding whether to work with me or not, I know ahead of time that this is between our higher selves. If they would be benefited from working with me, they will come to that. All I need to do on the actual call is just to listen and be my most present self with them. Like, for example, So let's do, all right, get clear and centered. I don't remember what I said next because I'm just kind of talking here. So you get clear and centered, and then you remind yourself that you're not really the one doing anything, that your higher selves are working this out. And so on a call, I will listen and I will respond. I'll ask questions. And if I'm excited about what they're doing, I'll be enthusiastic. But I'm still always knowing that it's not my job to sell or convince. All I'm doing is offering them an opportunity to work with me if they feel it would be most beneficial. And that really takes the pressure off, right? Like if you aren't going in there thinking like, "Oh, how am I going to get this sale? I need the money." Like that's a total turn off energetically to the other person on the line. And whether they feel it or not, they'll probably act accordingly and be repelled because desperate energy repels people. So if you just like take that off your plate and be like, okay, our higher selves are going to work this out. All I got to do is just answer questions, be present at, see what they want to create, see if I'm going to be of benefit to them. Then you're letting them decide. You're just giving them the information if they want it, right? And that is so helpful in the moment. Okay. All right. We have a really good question here. Thanks, Corinne. Have you ever gotten pushback from customers that were not satisfied with your offerings? It's a fear of mine that I've been moving through. Oh, I love this. So, of course. Yes. I've had thousands of customers at this point. And so, of course, statistically, it would be nearly impossible for there not to be a few squeaky wheels in there. So this is where your structure can really help you. Having a terms of service on your website is really, really, really important. Do you offer refunds? If so, what are the details of that? What do you do about dissatisfied customers? Do you have like an arbitration clause in there saying that you cannot be sued and that anything will go to arbitration in your state? So it would be kind of inconvenient for the other person to pursue. And you're not doing that to avoid like ownership and responsibility. You can still handle the situation, but like if it's really just like a person with a bone to pick and they won't respond to anything other than that, you just know that you've covered your bases. Do you have insurance? Make sure you have business insurance. Mine is only just a couple $100s a month. Not a month. Yeah, that would be crazy. A year. And so when it actually comes down to, okay, they're not asking for a refund. They just really don't like it. And they're letting you know. Actually, I have a video about this on the Intuitive Art channel that I'll put somewhere. Maybe I'll make a post about it on our Instagram if you follow us there, Intuitive Art Academy on Instagram. What happens if people just don't like what you do or they bought something and they're not happy? Well, you get to decide, right? You get to decide how to handle that. And it does sting a little bit. It does. And hopefully they'll give you some reasons why, right? I once had a person from another country buy my certification and go through the levels, and she was, very engaged until they got to the point of the loved ones, so the mediumship part. And she thought that it was just so invasive, and she was very triggered by it. And even though we say in the program that that is an optional thing, if you're uncomfortable with anything that we're doing, just skip it, she just couldn't get past it and asked for a refund, which I said, no, I'm so sorry. We don't offer refunds. It's, it's everywhere. And then she just dropped out. And so do I wish that things went differently? Of course, but it's not up to me, right? And it's not up to you. if you are doing the best you can at providing value and being the same you that you are in your programs and everything, people know pretty much what to expect, then it's on them, and I think some people are going to join your programs and or buy what you have to buy, and maybe they're not, like, I don't want to say meant, but I've gone into programs before where it was really about me meeting the people than it was about learning the thing. I've also bought programs that I've never opened. And I've bought programs where I got what I needed off of like half of it, or the first part of it, the first of 5 parts. And I'm okay with that, right? Because I'm aware that just because I'm going into something doesn't mean that I need to complete it. I don't need to do every single little thing that's in there for me to get my value. I trust myself to get the value out of whatever I'm buying. I just trust myself to do that. So you just have to know that there's people of all shapes and sizes. And if you have a fear of people being unhappy with you, it's definitely going to happen because you're creating your reality, right? You have a vibration in you with that fear, and somebody's going to fulfill it. And once it does, you're going to be like, oh, that sucks, but it's actually not that bad. It didn't kill me. It's okay, right? It's just going to happen. It's inevitable. It won't happen all the time as long as you are happy with what you're creating. But once in a while, it's just going to happen. I mean, if you think about, I think about the Kardashians sometimes, and like, I don't know if you watch them or not, but they get so much hate from the world for just living their lives the way they want to. Now, I'm not saying how they're living is, like good or bad. I'm just saying they are doing what they want to do, and they're getting a lot of flack for it. And I'm using them because they're amplified, right? They have they maybe have like 1 trillion people following them all together, right? Well, the world is like that. The world is mixed with all kinds of different people. And to think that you're just going to go through life without bumping into someone who's a little grumpy, it's just probably not going to happen. So expect it once in a while. It's not a big deal. You'll get over it in a few days if it kind of really gets in there. And just know that it's part of life. Don't let that hold you back. It is not that big of a deal. It will not hurt for very long. And you will develop a better mindset about it. And especially if you know your own value, right? If you start on the inside of you, knowing, you know what, I did my best. I'm proud of it. I'm okay with it. Other people seem to be really happy with it. I don't think there's really an issue here. And if you watch the video that I made about that, you'll see like it did help me make other decisions. Some of the feedback that I got. And so there's a fine line between like, oh, that person was just like out of line, to, hey, maybe there's a little bit of constructive feedback in that. And it can be really difficult to see that. But it's worthwhile, right? Like, so everything's fine. Everything's okay. You're going to get a little pushback once in a while. But it's in my experience, it's not constant, and it's very far and few between. And usually you can see, hey, this really is not about me, or, hey, I can kind of take a little bit of that and really use it to my advantage. So hopefully that helps you. My friend and I have been talking about the idea of like the shit sandwich that, oh, now I forgot her name. She wrote Big Magic. Is her name Liz? I don't know. You probably know. The author of Big Magic wrote about this idea of there's this thing that you really want to do and you love it and it's amazing. But it comes with a little shit sandwich. There comes with a part of it that you're not really that into. And if you let that little shit sandwich deter you from diving into the thing that you're really, really going to love, then you're just going to live in one big shit sandwich, right? Because you're not doing the thing that you love that gives you, yes, Elizabeth Gilbert, that gives you so much joy. And so this is the thing. It's like, yeah, there's going to be parts of business and life that suck. But if you continue moving in the direction of what fills you up, those little detractors hurt less and less, right? Does that make sense? And so if you've been afraid of sales, which I totally understand, then just realize it's a co-creation. If I make what I love, whether that's services or products, if I focus on what I love about it, and I'm naturally going to feel more connected to it, I'm naturally going to feel like it's more valuable. Sales is going to get easier and easier. But if you just have the mindset of like, oh, sales is so big, it's so painful, I hate it, I want to avoid it at all costs, then it actually keeps you from being in the energy of creating what you love. So just keep that in mind. That's why, again, I said sales is an inside job. It's about you aligning with your own value. And then it's so much easier to communicate it and to allow it to be reciprocated, right? Here is the thing that I love and created with joy. Yes, I'm happy to take money for that. Thank you so much. Now I can go make more. Yeah. Okay. Gonna have a little bit of iced tea here. Do you guys have any other questions or any other topics that you want to cover? And are you proud of me for talking for this much? Usually Carrie is such a wonderful counterpoint. Also, she will not be here next week as she has work outside of her home that she has to do. Okay. What do we get out of sales? That's a good question for the cards. Okay, what is it that we get out of sales? Obviously, we get money usually, but what do we get out of sales? Let's see what intuitive art has to say. Okay. Thank you, Guillaume. Ooh, okay. So this is like a deep raspberry. So this is inspired action. But it's deeper. It's inspired living. Inspired living. Yeah, when we sell basically ourselves, something we've made, something we've created, something we're passionate about, it allows us to live a more inspired life, right? Because when we do what we're inspired to do, somebody buys that, we get to live in more inspiration and create more. That's a beautiful way to look at sales. Oh my God. And the next color is so similar. Yes. So this is, it's a little bit more purple, but now it's bringing out the purple in this color, which is my spirituality color. So this is spirituality in action. Basically what you value in action. You get to live your values. You get to live in your inspiration. That's beautiful. Oh my goodness. See, these are the things I can't make up without my intuitive art for help, right? Like that makes so much sense. When we're willing to offer what we do to other people, we get to live in harmony with ourselves. How beautiful is that? Right? It's so worth it. It's so, so, so worth it. All right. So what next? So you're aligning to your own value. You are centering yourself in the fact that you're not convincing anyone to buy anything. You're giving them the opportunity to engage with what you have to offer, right? You're just setting the stage here. This is what I can do for you. This is what we'll do together. If you would like to join me, here's how, right? And then you make it easy for them to purchase. Another thing that really helps me is knowing that my abundance is not a result of that sale. My abundance, my bank account, it's not a result of that sale. My abundance comes from my vibration. Let your vibration do the work. And by the way, I didn't really think about this beforehand, but I put my name, because this is like my most favorite quote. I put my name on it. And yeah, it's really weird to have a shirt with your name on it. I actually changed out of this shirt before I went to the vet yesterday because I thought it was really weird that I was walking around with people who know my name with my name on my shirt. But anyway, I will have to line up with that and get more comfortable. So, this idea that your abundance isn't a direct result of that sale, and really, that sale is a direct result of you feeling abundant. You feeling abundant, regardless of how that sale goes, is what gets more sales. It also allows in abundance in many other ways. So, if you are finding yourself like feeling like you need to sell something in order to make money, which yes, most people do think that you get like all worked up before a craft fair or an enrollment conversation, kind of like seeing people as dollars, right? I've heard that a lot. I'm so icked out by the fact that I see people as dollars, right? Because I could use the money. So if that's happening to you, that just means you have more inner work to do in aligning with abundance. And I know it sounds really strange, but your vibration inside is what creates your reality. So if you want more money to flow to you, you have to feel that money in here already. And you don't have to imagine your bank account having lots of money in it right now if that feels weird or disingenuous. Like a lot of times I will just start with, okay, I bought this desk with money. I bought this box with money. I bought this plant with money, right? Like there's money all around me. I just traded it for other stuff, right? I have a coin jar over there. There's actual money in there. There's a little bit of money in my wallet. There's money in my bank account. I have, makeup over there that I paid money for. And so if you just start to think, how can I feel more abundant now? Look all around you. I'm surrounded by abundance. I'm looking at a tree right now with thousands of leaves on it. That is abundance, right? Do whatever you can to feel more abundant now, and then people will find you to give you more. That is just how it works. So letting your vibration do the work, finding abundance in here is just going to naturally bring abundance to you. But if you're constantly worried about money, if your focus is on lack of money, then you will create lack of money. That is just how law of attraction works. So find a way to put your focus on having more, on having enough, on having abundance, and that is what you will allow in. So how you feel about money will absolutely change your results. And if you've been just kind of like, I've been trying this for a long time. I've been doing everything you said, Rachel. Nothing's working for me. I don't feel my value. I don't know what to do. Nobody's paying me. I got to pay my bills. That is just a sign that you need a reset. Throw up your oars, as Abraham would say, let it all go. Okay, I'm letting everything go. I'm stopping everything I've been trying. I'm not going to do anything anymore. I'm literally shutting everything off inside of me, and we're going to hard reset, factory reset. And we're going to come at this with new energy, but not right now, because right now I just need to find neutral. Find neutral, watch a funny video, find somewhere to laugh, take a walk in nature, or like just sit down, go to a plant store if you live in a city, right? Like find a way to reset yourself. And then how would I like my life to be? If I could have it any way I want, what would it be like? Could I imagine sales coming to me? Can I imagine people wanting my thing? Could I imagine a full bank account? make it light, right? So like you're building back up, you're walking up that ladder into abundance, but you're doing it at your own pace. Go check out I Love Abundance. It's a free course I uploaded to this Rachel Archelaus YouTube channel. It's very short and sweet. It's just a great structured reminder of how to align with abundance again. It's totally free. Go check that out. Okay. Well, I'm glad y'all are enjoying the talk. Thank you, Kina and Guillaume. And Dale, thanks for asking a question. Are there steps you keep in mind when having a sales conversation to stay in the talk? I find I go with the flow, my go with the flow tendencies kick in, and then I don't feel clear about where we are in the sales talk. Yes, great question. Okay, so basically, do I have a sales talk outline? Do I have a structure? We've talked a lot about structure today. Yes, I absolutely have a structure. It's very simple. It is first, right? And this is sales conversation, but it could be for any conversation. Rapport. You get on the phone with someone, you get on Zoom, you get in person. Hey, how's it going? How are you doing today? Right? Oh, I'm so sorry. You're in Florida. Like, that's so terrible. Are you okay? Or, oh, wow, I lived in Connecticut too. Isn't that so funny that you're from Connecticut? Right? Like something little bit to like break the ice. Sometimes people are a little nervous. So just one little sentence, one little exchange about that, right? And then set the stage. Okay, great. Well, we have another 15 minutes to chat today. Here's what we'll do. I would love to hear about what you are trying to create in your life right now. I just want to hear all about it. I'm going to listen and hear, if you have any resistance about it, or to listen to see if I would be able to support you in that. And then at the end, we'll just talk about if there's anything I think I can do for you, right? So then you have the conversation, but you've already outlined how much time you have for it. And then you have your conversation. You listen to them, you ask questions, you offer anything that you, feel excited about or whatever. You're not usually you're not actually coaching them. You're just listening and seeing if you two would be a fit. You're listening to see where you could help them. And then at the end, say, hey, I think I would absolutely be able to help you with that. Or, you know what, I don't think I'm the right person for you. Here's maybe another resource. But if you are a fit, then you can say, would you like to hear about, what I have to offer? Would you like to hear about my coaching package? Would you like to hear about my VIP day? Would you like to hear about my meditation set? Would you like to hear about my candle company? Like whatever it happens to be that you would be helping them, then you ask if they want to hear about it. Yes, I would love to hear about it. Then you tell them about it. You tell them the price. They say yes or no. And usually you wrap it up. So yeah, just make an outline. You can write that down. Dale, you're in our coaching group. I can give you my PDF on that. So yeah, little sales pitch here. If you want more help on your own structure, I have a lot of scripts and outlines and copy and paste stuff about sales and marketing in my coaching group. If you go to intuitiveart.com/membership, you will see it and be able to sign up. So yeah, I hope that helps, Dale. If you need to, put a timer, like this, what do they call it? Stopwatch on your phone, and just have it in front of you and see how long have you been going, right? Or just make note to write down when you want to have that pause in the conversation to say, oh, hey, yeah, I think I'd be able to help you with that, right? Put that in your mind. And so that when you keep glancing at the time, you'll know when to stop. So it's good to be able to just like flow with the person. I don't have, in the beginning, I was taught like, ask them what they've tried before and ask them what would happen if they don't achieve it. And like, I don't feel like I need to build up that kind of energy. Like, I don't want to focus too much on that. I just want to be able to actually listen to them and respond. So you can put in a more structure if you want to, but I feel like my way is just like the bare bones of still having a really free flowing conversation. Um, yeah, and it works well for me. So hopefully that helps. Oh, I'm so glad. Okay, so Guillaume is saying, how do I attract potential readers to my website to sell my ebooks? Well, Guillaume, attracting potential readers and clients is what we talked about last week. So that's about your social media and using best practices on each platform and sharing about what you do and why you do it. So I would go back to last week, and we even gave you specific advice. So maybe listen to it again and write down the parts that were for you. And yeah, go from there. Because that's really, so marketing is about getting the clients to you, and sales is about the actual transaction of the exchange. Yeah. So let's talk more about this idea of abundance. Because if you can get this, sales is going to be a no-brainer. If you can feel that you are abundant inherently, you are an abundant being. Abundance is your alignment. It is your emanation. It is your vibration. Then you will attract abundance. That's how this planet works. That's how the universe works. So letting your vibration do the work, you got to do the work to get your vibration to where you want it, and then it will provide for you. I've had this happen so many times. So here is a really good example I haven't told in a long time. I used to teach when I lived in Connecticut. I taught at this place called Sound. It was like a wellness center, teaching center. And every quarter I taught psychic development for beginners. So, niche, very niche, but would sell out every single time. And I was going to teach it one more time before I moved. And it was in August, which everyone says, don't teach a class in August, because it was 6 weeks. So they'd have to like show up every week in August and beyond. So don't teach a class in August. Everybody's on vacation. Nobody has time. It's right before school starts, blah, 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 right? All these thoughts in my head that no one is going to sign up. And for the first time ever, it didn't sell out right away. And I think I'd sold one to 3 spots, and we usually have 10. So I'm kind of bummed. I'm about to move. Obviously I would like to have as much abundance as possible before doing that. And I decide, you know what? This is before I go and, teach it. I decide, all right, I've sold 3 spots, but this is going to be the best class I've ever taught. This is going to be the most abundant class that I've ever taught. This is more profitable than any other class that I've ever taught. And I just felt like I was like floating in the sky. I felt amazing. I decided that my vibration was going to be that no matter what. It didn't matter what the number said, that it was just going to be the best class in the whole world that I've ever taught. And it sounds ridiculous, but you can get yourself there. You really can. And then I remember I was driving to that class, right? Still only 3 people. I'm driving to the class. I am feeling like the universe is connected and I'm in it and it's amazing. I mean, I still remember this feeling. I remember that drive like 8 years ago, because it was like, yeah, everything's flowing, everything's connected. Like, it was really, really, really a cool feeling. I'll never forget it. And then when I got to the center, it was packed. It was packed. We ended up having 13 people or 12 people in the class. People had seen the newsletter from a few weeks ago that morning, and they were like, I just had to show up for this. I had to come. I hope it's okay that I just came here without pre-registering, people would say. And it was just such a reminder, and I've had many, many more since and before that, that I'm the creator. I'm the creator. I decided that was the most profitable class I'd ever taught. I decided it was the best class I'd ever taught. I decided that the outer world results didn't matter. I decided that I mattered. And that is why that happened for me. And it has happened so many times since then. You get off the phone with a client, enrollment conversation, or Carrie and I, we offer our program at our events, and then we have to wait usually a few days to see who's going to join us. Well, in that time, I'm not like, oh my God, who's going to join? I need people to join. I need to, whatever. I'm not that. I'm basking in my own abundance. I'm basking in I have so much iced tea today because you guys know how much I love my iced tea. I have this phone. My partner bought me this beautiful phone. Whatever it is, the sun is out. I have peas in my garden. My cats are beautiful and soft and amazing, right? Find your own abundance. Wherever it is in there, whether it's outside, inside, physical things, emotional things, family, whatever. You can find a feeling of abundance. You can focus on that and make that front and center and watch the world give you what you want. That is how you do it. All right. I don't have a mic, but mic drop, right? So yes, you decide the experience. Yes, you decide and you align, you feel it. And you might look ridiculous. I remember one of the first times that I needed to do this because I had no other option. This was maybe a year or two before that class thing I told you about. I was renting an office at that same center, and all these people owed me money. My clients owed me money, and I was supposed to get paid for a whole bunch of things. And it was just it just wasn't coming in. And I had to pay my rent, and I had to pay my rent because the center depended on my rent to pay its rent, right? So there was no extension that I could get. I asked. I had to pay my rent. I had to get this energy flowing. I had to get this money flowing. And it just, day after day, wasn't coming in. And so I did this thing. I did I don't want to be, I was going to say, I was doing this rain dance, because in spirit, that is what they are doing. Our indigenous friends, they are making their alignment work for them when they're doing things like that. I just didn't want to be disrespectful and call it that. But I was deciding I have abundance now. Money is flowing to me now. I had to align with it in order to get that money flowing in my life. And then it did. So, it's really up to us, is what I'm trying to say. All right, last question. We're almost at time. How do you end a conversation comfortably if they're a no? Do you overcome objections? It feels pushy to me to find out why not. I don't overcome objections. I think if I've lined up my energy properly, if I'm in my own value and my own abundance, and I've met with someone who I feel is a yes, and they are a no, it's not a right fit. So I don't say why. If they offer it up, that's great, right? They can do that work on their own. I'm really only interested in people who are excited to work with me and who want to pay me, right? If you feel like you can't afford me, I don't want to work with you because I don't want you to be stressed out while you're working with me, right? Now, I'm okay if people want to, pay for it whatever way they feel comfortable, if whether that's a credit card or whatever, like that's up to them if they feel comfortable. But if they feel like they can't afford me and they tell me that, I'm not going to try to change their mind. So, the only thing that I might offer is like if someone really is a yes and they want to sign up and they tell me that and they say, I just can't start until this date, then no problem. But that's not really a no. So, if you do your energy work on your side, you're going to get a lot less objections. I'll just say that. Most of my conversations end up in a yes and thanks. How do I sign up? Let me pay you right now. Like they are more eager to pay me than I'm like fast enough to get them the invoice. Just because we've both done our work, they showed up with what they want. I've showed up with what I have to offer, and it's a match. So the more solid you are in here in yourself, easier the whole process will be. So hopefully that is a help. And yeah, I think this is right. This is it. We got to be easy about it. We want our vibration to do the work. We want everyone who comes to us to be happy and satisfied and a yes, and to be able to afford us. And that's just a beautiful life. So we got to work on ourselves in here in order for that to happen. And then it will take care of itself for the most part. We're going to run into some issues, some shit sandwiches, but nothing that we can't overcome easily, especially because we're doing what we love. And so we're filled up. I am more energetic now than when I started this call, obviously, because this is so much fun. So you will find that too when you're doing the work that you love. And it'll be so much easier to deal with any of these little niggly things than you think. Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming. This was amazing. Love you all. And I will see you next week by myself because Carrie will be away. If you have any topic suggestions, let me know. Okay. Lots of love. Bye.